The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to listen to Jesus, but the Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." So to them Jesus addressed this parable. A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, "Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me." So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings and set off to a distant country, where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens, who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses, he thought, "How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough to eat? But here am I, dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father, and I shall say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers.' So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son.' But his father ordered his servants, 'Quickly, bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.' Then the celebration began. Now the older son had been out in the field, and on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, 'Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf, because he has him back safe and sound.' He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, 'Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughter the fattened calf.' He said to him, 'My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice, because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.'" The Gospel of the Lord. I'm sure there are parents here in Mass who have had their children say, "I don't want to go to Mass. I don't get anything out of Mass." And I'm sure the response of at least some of those parents has been this: "It's not what you get out of Mass, it's what you put into it." And you are right. And sadly, we now have a view of Mass that's a version of entertainment. Are we enjoying ourselves? Are we having fun? What am I getting out of it? But tonight, I wish to encourage us to consider that Mass is not something we sit back and wait for something to happen for us. But Mass is an offering. Mass as the prayers of the Mass themselves say, is an offering. And if our young people don't get that, of course they'll be bored. Of course they'll drop out. Of course they'll prefer 101 other things that are much more titillating. But if we understand Mass as an offering, what a difference. What do we mean by saying Mass is an offering? Well, the first way is very obvious. It's a matter of coming to Mass. That great Hebrew prophet, Woody Allen, once said, 90% of life is showing up. And it's true. Thank God at least you're here. Think of all the Catholics who won't even offer God 45 minutes a week. But I'd like to offer 3 particular ways at each Mass that we can make an offering to God. The first has to do with when we come into church. And I hope that we have the habit, a beautiful, old-fashioned habit, when you come into church of kneeling down in your pew and just taking a moment to pray. It could be a Hail Mary or an Our Father, nothing very fancy. But something very beautiful happens when we come in here and we don't simply read the bulletin or chitter-chatter with people around us. But as we kneel down and come into church, we can make an offering to God. Well, what do you mean, offering? Well, we can come into church tonight and say, Lord, I wish to offer you, I wish to give to you my life. It might be our family members, especially those who are in difficult times. It might be our fears, our anxieties. It could be issues of money, our health, our future. For our young people here, what are you daydreaming about in church? Don't ignore it, but instead, whatever you're thinking about, that girlfriend you wish you had as a girlfriend, whatever you daydream about, offer that to God as we begin Mass. That is how we don't come into Mass and sit back. Let's see what's going to entertain me. But we offer to God ourselves. Watch and see how different Mass is when we do that. A second way we make an offering to God, that we put something into Mass and not just simply demand something out of it, is as we're listening to the Scriptures and to the homily. When I was young, I was bored by the homilies. Oh, I was critical of them. This priest doesn't know what he's talking about. And if you remember, I was a non-priest for 39 years. I only got ordained when I was 39, so years. And then one day at the ripe old age of 18, the Lord hit me over the head. He said, hey, cut it out. The Lord said to me at the age of 18, I want you to listen to every homily, no matter how boring, no matter how dry. And I want you to listen and try to find some little nugget, some little thought that you can take away with you. And ever since then, that's what I have done. And trust me, I have listened to many boring homilies. Sometimes right out of this microphone. But I'm committed, not only to listening for that, but as a priest who does preach. I'm committed that with every homily I give, there will be at least one simple pearl, a nugget that you can take with you. And what a difference it makes if you're listening for that. What a difference it makes if you're not simply, but listening, saying, Lord, I want to get something out of this homily. I want to take something home from this homily. Even from boring Father Baer, I want to get something out of this. Ask the Lord for that. It's the difference between this and this. And third and finally, a third way that we put something into Mass is as we come forward to receive Holy Communion. As we come forward to receive Holy Communion, we are receiving Jesus Christ, his body, his blood, his soul and divinity. He's giving that to you. And what are you giving to him as you come down for Holy Communion? You might say, I don't know. Well, this is a holy exchange. That's what communion means. He's got something for you, and you should have something for him. What do you mean? Well, it could be your ups, your downs, your joys, your sorrows, all the things that matter to you. When you come down to Holy Communion, offer those to God. And even more, offer yourself to God. Jesus isn't just giving you a little wafer of bread. Jesus isn't just giving you a happy good wish. Jesus Christ is giving you everything, his very body and blood. And he asks you, what do you wish to offer him? If we come to Mass, if we come to Holy Communion that way, trust me, Mass will never be dull again. Or at least, it will only be as dull as the rest of your life. Because what we do here is we offer God our life. Yes, the boring parts, yes, the exciting parts, the highs and the lows. But that's what's happening here. We offer ourselves to God. And he gives himself totally to you. God comes to church here to give everything to you. That ain't boring. That ain't dull. It's the greatest thing that could ever happen to you.